You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
Howdy.
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of December the 2nd to December the 8th, 2023. Starting with three things which didn't air that week. First of all, going back the furthest, it's Pluto, episode 7. We still don't have a title.
Episode 7.
It's all about Epsilon and Dr. Tenma. It's pretty clear cut just between those two characters, really, for most of the episode. So Dr. Tenma's part of the story is that he's tried to use Gasit's memories on Astro in the same way he's suggested to Ambula as to how to get Pluto to pick a personality.
You know what'll fix my boy? If I met him a monster. It's like, yeah, sure, Tenma. That's your solution to fucking everything.
Yes, particularly it plays well at the end when he can't get his head around Uran.
He's so close at the end to going like, holy shit, you can feel emotions and shit. That's what I was trying to fucking do. And then he's like, no, this is a simulation. This is bullshit. You're not as advanced as Astro. I'm cynical again. Like
that's because
like,
I didn't do it. So
yes.
Yeah.
But yes, it's the difference in the two professors thinking. It's like Dr. Tenma's thing is, I'm going to make a robot like a human by traumatizing them, and I don't pronounce his name.
Michino Mizu.
That's him. His thing is, I will teach a robot how to become human by giving it super empathy, and it will learn for itself rather than being forced to. By circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't look under the sheet. She's got a lot of faces going on down there. So it's best you don't.
Yes, it's very much Michael Jackson's Black and White is what we opened with loads of different faces morphing into one another, including what appears to be Cilla Black in one of them.
Well, like he's good at just kind of at sketching just like a good like widespread of different kinds of heads. You know, it's just like I was just doodling some faces in my sketchbook, and I thought that can make for a freaky visual. Yeah, let's get it in there.
And Epsilon's story is that I forgot to write the robot's name who's sent to be his bodyguard.
Hogan,
yes,
the good dude.
That's not the same bodyguard from the prior thing. It's another model of that bodyguard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Because I wasn't sure. I was like, I'm sorry, all you RoboCops look the fucking same.
Well, there was two of them, and only one of them got cyber possessed, so you could be the other.
And the other guy got out of it, yeah. And I mean, like, presumably the guy who was cyber possessed was fine afterwards, so it could have been either of those guys. Yeah.
He's got death duty for the next month and a half.
Yeah, so he's been sent to take Epsilon to a safe house, which is above the cloud line, so that he can receive sun and be powerful enough if Pluto attacks.
Yeah,
it's like a fortress built on a mountain, basically. Yeah.
He's also be unfortunately exposed to some kind of satellite laser cannon.
Yes.
I mean, like, you're always exposed to a satellite laser cannon. There's not really much.
That's a little flourish. This is my little calling card. You know, I'll blow the mountain apart, and it's got like two. Like peaks are like them horns again. He's sending us a message.
And this attack also kills another former member of the expedition team. We don't get his first names, but it is basically just the actor George C. Scott playing as Brigadier Scott. Visually, yes, he looks just like him. I was like, okay, that's a little. Normally, you give them a different name, but no, just go ahead. Same nose, same name. And so he once tried to. He was telling Epsilon during the visit when they found all those robot bodies, we need you to evaporate them. And then he spotted that there was a child still here. Vasily rescued them and then gave the humans a telling off for being sloppy.
And it did not cure the man years later and many promotions of his robo-racism, which he still maintained up to the point where he was lasered from space.
My body.
When the guys were like, when Epsilon was later at a hearing in front of the guys, like, why didn't you save the major and all the soldiers? And he's like, I'm a nuclear robot. Like I can make a giant explosion. how did you think I was going to save all of those people from a space laser by making giant explosions? Like, what part of my power set do you think prevents space lasers? None of it.
Yeah,
Because while they're
like,
getting space lasers, the children are being threatened by Pluto, so Epsilon has to
Yes.
dash
Yeah.
that way and tear Pluto's arm off. And the reason he's in the court-martial is because the humans are like, God damn it, pacifist robot. You had a chance to kill the robot that's trying to kill all the world's strongest robots, and you didn't.
yeah.
He's the pacifist robot. That's probably why he saved this guy for last. It's like, this guy can't stop me at all. So
Like,
if
you-
I've gotten
you could
this far, I'll
probably
be doing well.
You can probably see this if you see like the capability that he has. It's probably for the best he didn't fight in the fucking in Gulf War
Oh,
3
yeah.
because he would have just fucking obliterated like the entire country.
Yeah, like when I say like a nuclear type explosion, obviously he's a solar powered robot, as they keep maintaining in this episode, but it is like giant explosions.
It's a
are
clean
mostly his
burn
power.
though. The clean burn.
And so Abullah has to go back to his drawing board, and so he adopts Vasily to lure Epsilon into a trap.
Like, all right, so like a mysterious benefactor comes in and is like, I want to adopt the most traumatized child in your orphanage, and the carers who they're carers, they're basically like nannies hired by Epsilon. Epsilon has adopted these children. This isn't an orphanage or anything. It's like, why were they thinking it's like, oh, he'll give us a lot of funding? And I'm just like, Epsilon will be really mad and sad if we do this. But it's like, but the money. It's like, you really want to adopt the most.
That man did not exist. Also, that man seemed very nervous to be there in the first place when he was doing the adoption.
Like he had the dead blank smile, like the smile that doesn't reach his eyes.
And so Epsilon goes to sacrifice himself, but also Pluto is very reluctant to kill Epsilon himself.
Which is why Epsilon didn't want
to help.
Yeah, which is why Epsilon didn't want to. I mean, like, besides being a pacifist robot, why he didn't want to kill him in the first place. He was kind of like, you don't want to die, and that would be really bad of me to kill you, a pacifist robot. I'm very not very killy in the first place, but the fact that you're begging me for help is like, yeah, I can't really kill you. I'm going to try and talk you down. Doesn't work out, unfortunately.
No, he gets his head bitten off, but his arms managed to protect Vasily and Hogan.
He turns into a beautiful meteor shower.
The thing of a small child like cradling the first person, I guess, to ever show him love's like hand in his face, and then the other hand just flopping down from bringing up a force field around him. I was just like, Jesus Christ, that's a really fucked up image.
Well, now you see Shigaraki in My Hero Academia got that whole complex, don't you?
Yeah.
And then, meanwhile, across the other side of the world, Tenma's going, Atom's waking up. Why isn't Atom waking up? Everything says he should be waking up because I fed him all Gashit's anger and hatred and depression. And then there's the transmission from Epsilon after seeing the sadness of Pluto, and that's what wakes him up. And then Uran relays that to Tenma, and as we said, Tenma doesn't get it. He thinks, you're using those words you learned from reading fiction instead of science.
They use your words, robot girl. You won't fool me.
Explain to me scientifically.
Yeah, he thinks she's been programmed with like poetical ways of describing language, which is like, oh, you nearly fucking tricked me. You nearly won me over with thinking that you can see my inner thing, but you're just good at explaining that shit because you've researched all the fucking. It's like, no, it's because she's an empathic robot, dude.
Well, you say she also says like poetic, but she's just like, oh man, it's got something. It's felt something. It was like it's this sort of super duper sadness. It's like, the way to go there. Fucking.
I feel two sad. Like really two people are sad over there. Like that's the extent of her, because she's a child. She's also a child empathic robot. So yeah.
I will say, in general, I'm enjoying the show, but it is confirming that it's probably my least favorite of Urasawa's works that I've read. But this episode in particular, condensing it down a little bit made some stuff stand out a little clearer, because there is, particularly with Tenma, the little like the message that's not the story seems to be that in making robots in their image, particularly in Tenma's case, they've perhaps made robots who are more human than what the human what a human thinks a human is, because he's got Kashyyyk's memories, he says, well, if a soul exists, then it's on this chip, suggesting that he doesn't think the human soul exists, but in creating a robot, we've created a soul by being able to take the memories.
Well, we've manufactured something better than us, therefore we've manufactured something with a soul. Yeah.
You've had two separate cases here with Epsilon and Brando as well. It was just like these children had nobody else, so I took them in. It's just like, so why would a robot do that? And the answer was, sure, why not? No one else is going to. It's like no fucking human person is just like doing it. It's fun. Humans phone threw him out on the street, right? So, and you just can't get that.
Yes, and Tenma won't let his feelings show when he's been told that his ex-wife's headed back to Germany, and he's like, I didn't even know she was here. And then we get this flashback to he met with her and got the memories off her, and why can't he show his feelings to another human being when he can show them to a robot?
Because he's developed cynicism and coldness out of being an emotional being, whereas robots start from that and get better, whereas he has gotten that bad and cannot get better from it through his own interference for the most part. Yeah.
Well, he probably is one of the things you won't learn anything if you never make a mistake. A mistake teaches you so much. A mistake, and probably depending on how tragic that mistake was, that's the best thing that's to learn what life is really like, man. To learn what it's all about, But he's kind of overcorrecting. It's just like, he reaches for the sadness pills every time.
Yeah, it did have me hankering. I was like, man, I wish somebody would just get over Blade Runner and just make a proper adaptation of Two Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. Because that's got a similar message of these guys who are hunting supposedly empathy-free androids are then struggling to actually have any empathy in their own life, even though they're human.
Because if you hunt down a thing that is as close to human as you can possibly fucking make it out of circuits and shit, how human are you to do that? You have to really close yourself off to be able to do that. Yeah.
And it's got the environmental message that the abuse of the environment has lessened people's empathy as well. I was like, oh man, if you could get a proper Philip K. Dick adaptation, but I suspect that's very hard to do.
It'd have to be a much longer form as well, and his stuff been adapted and condensed.
That's a long story, whereas it's often the opposite way. It's like we've taken a short story, we've really stretched it out.
Filled it in with fucking usually just the stuff, just some shit that we made up because we think.
Yes,
I'm a big fan of this book, so I think I have the proper read of it, if you know.
Or the classic one is Imposter, which is the one where it was supposed to be an anthology film, so nobody made the other three parts of the anthology, so they then had to stretch the 40-minute short out into a feature length, and apparently the short, which you can get on the DVD, is far better than the
because it cuts away the wheat and the chaff.
That's another thing of robots empathy,
because everything can be.
Dick thought empathy was the divine, so
one
of the stories. So.
I get what you're saying with it being probably Urasawa's weakest work, but it's probably the best jumping on point for someone because it's one of the shorter ones that it's just it's this long. Now it's a Netflix series. Here you go. Do you like this? Try Monster. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's going to take you much longer, but it'll be worth it.
Yes, I guess it doesn't change the name of the comic for the last 3 volumes or something weird like that.
Well, it's also this is he's kind of adapting someone else's work essentially. So there's maybe he's got that certain, maybe you kind of need that too, something to kind of always come back to. But I suppose you're not getting the full full board like him in this one.
I think that's everything in this episode. It's a lot. Obviously, as most of the protagonists are now dead, Atom wakes up at the end.
There was an ominous, dark, gigantic shadow that emerges from the fjord.
Yes.
And we had Vasquez let us nightmarish drawing of a dark figure against some kind of apocalyptic fucking landscape. He's got this song about a giant that eats ice and fire, and then he'll eat the entire earth. So someone made a big robot that's probably very sad and angry at the same time.
And we'll get to that in the last episode. next week.
Mhm.
Then we've got, he's looking at the episodes in the wrong order because they're in his notes. Akuma-kun, episode 5, Angel, in which we get a locked room mystery. And as he explains by the end of it, done by an idiot. It was so simple to solve.
Detective Conan have it done like that, like
He
that,
does
just
that,
so
yeah.
fucking quick.
This time, well, you gotta think of like of the old like used to string the clothes door after you. Like, you gotta like rule that out first, and this is the first thing I noticed. Yeah.
So yes, somebody has been nailed to the floor, and there is a spooky doll with a spooky nail in its forehead. So that's why they've called in the occult detectives to investigate. And this guy he's like a limited edition item scalper.
eBay scalper.
Yeah.
Mm.
And his landlord breaks in because he's not answered the door for 2 weeks or something. It's ages. It's quite a while.
Quite a while, yeah.
He's a little behind on the rent because he hasn't answered
It
the
was
door.
no. If it was 2 weeks, that body would be
2 weeks
much
behind on the
further
rent,
along.
wasn't it? Yeah.
So it must have been just like 2 days if he was.
Yes.
If he was missing for 2
there.
weeks and he had paid the rent, no fucking problem. But he hadn't paid the rent in 2 weeks, so now the landlord.
You would have smelt that long before.
Yeah, I like that the landlord's the only guy who likes this guy.
Because he paid his fucking bills, and that's all I care about as a landlord.
Woman,
I love the fact when they're doing the investigation of a paranormal thing, and the landlord's like, "It's fucking ghost. It's that fucking ghost doll, isn't it?" And they're just like, "Nah, it's not the fucking ghost doll. Don't worry about it." But they keep saying things where he's like, "Oh yeah, they use this kind of lock thing," and he's like, I could probably upgrade the lots and the whole fucking apartment block and charge them extra rent for it. Yeah, okay. Like he's looking this as a money making opportunity.
Yeah, there's some good like little bits of aside dialogue when Mistopheles, his mum's forcing him to explain the plot of the murder to him.
Over the phone while she's drinking.
To her, yeah. And there's a bit about the woman who's acting as the janitor for the building wanted to make sure that he wrote in his notes that she used to be the top hostess at this particular hostess bar. Make sure you get that in there. Why?
It's my thing.
After rip, you're nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a completely non-occult murder, dressed up as an occult murder, and yet that nail, it is occult, and it's bothering Akuma-kun. So he goes to his dad, and his dad's like, "Stop trying to remember it. You might not want to remember the thing you remember if you think too hard about that nail."
Don't force that door open. It's like, up yours, old man.
And the reason it takes, like, I guess, most of an episode to do is because it's Mephistopheles the Third doing all the fucking groundwork, interviewing the suspects, like going through the thing, putting the clues, putting the clues together and stuff. And no offense to the guy, I'm not saying he's stupid or anything, but his main job is to shoot electricity and ice, and the other guy is supposed to do the solving of the crime part, and he solved the crime ages ago, but he's just obsessed with this weird fucking nail. What's the deal with the weird fucking nail? Yeah, it would have been solved quicker otherwise.
Yeah. What is the deal with this nail? Oh yeah, we should probably put it in a magic circle and do some fucking abracadabras on it and see what happens.
Yes, because there was the reason right at the first start of the episode they bring up another case in America where somebody was killed by an evil magical doll, and he thinks it's connected to that case, so he's going to try and mess with this nail by summoning whatever's inside it, and then this he's like what's her name, Celine, except he's a teenage boy.
It's got like it's got a half dark, half light, sort of like feathery plumage going on and stuff. It is very like Devilman-esque, like Angel, you've summoned here.
Yes, and he's like, "Oh, you thought you were summoning the creature which made the contract with the guy in the American case?" As well, no, I'm what's his name, Sapphire or something.
Sarapholos, very angelic name. You don't remember me, do you?
Yeah, he whispers to Akuma-kun. I can't remember what he goes up and tells him.
Follow the money.
I don't think we get the gist of it, but he does call Akuma-kun something else, like a different name.
That's it. Yeah.
Which is,
So he knows something of his past. And then I assume he's going to bother him for the rest of the series.
Hovering around, being a creep, you know.
Yes, and his appearance has caused another crack to appear in the ocarina. That's a big part of the plot of the original Kumiko series, and not this one. Yes. And his dad looks concerned.
But he would. It's damn ocarina. It's breaking again.
I'm sure it's got a proper name. I can't remember. I'm sure it has the word millennium in it.
Ocarina of Time. A millennium is a unit of time, so I could be Ocarina of Time.
That's fair.
I think everything in this episode, it was a fun one, particularly because the supernatural stuff was right at the edges.
Yeah, it's sort of two in a row like that. For this, like the one from before with like the film and 2 and saying, "Oh yeah, the mystery doesn't really kind of matter. It's just like the sort of this kind of side bit of it is a more important thing to focus on."
And then we've got Scott Pilgrim takes off, episode 4, whatever.
I haven't heard that song in a long time.
No,
this was a fun, like, fucking Tony Hawk's flashback. I did enjoy all the music in this.
Yes, it's the song "Whatever" by Liam Lynch, originally off the Syphil and Ollie show. Throughout, as we get focused on Lucas Lee, and once again, this is a project where Chris Evans seems to be the person who's the most enthusiastic to be in the project at hand.
You want me, big, like, famous guy, important and presumably worth a lot of money, to come on and, like, the first couple of lines are just like, like that he does, like, just grunts and growls kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, absolutely, I'll fucking do that. That sounds great.
Okay, party on. Again, it's just the one voice he knows how to do, but it cracks me up every time I hear it.
Yeah.
So the plot of this one is that Lucas has been told by his agent he's not to fuck up this next job, otherwise he's out of the town, out of the business. You're not a star anymore. And to which he says, whatever, and then proceeds to fuck up for the rest of the episode. And the film he's in is Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life. The film.
Imagine this if you can. It sounds wild. What if Scott survived?
Directed by Edgar Wrong, and lots of kind of fun stuff there. Yeah.
Well, directed by.
Sorry, not Edgar Wrong. Something wrong. Yeah.
I think I can't remember if he has the name or not, but it's Kevin McDonald as the director.
Okay.
Kids in the Hole.
Oh, and this is Young Neil's screenplay. It's gotten picked up.
It's
fantastic for him.
Yeah, the way that there's no explanation from getting from point A to point B is just brilliant. It's like, okay, this is the film. Oh, it turns out that's the film. That's why he's here, and people are asking him how he knew about certain conversations he wasn't present for.
He's like the creative process.
Things move pretty fast in showbiz. You guys like strap yourself in and hang on. No.
And while they're filming it in, it's in Toronto, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. While they're filming in Toronto, they have like sets and everything of the places that are literally there in that town. But it's just like it just works out better this way. Although they do very.
Sets, in fact.
Yeah, they got to add so much into it after the fact. The standard, we built it up so high, and then the rest of it's going to be green screen. They did do a misstep with miscasting one very gay character as a very heterosexual character, but that got quickly corrected, so that's good.
I'll play myself because this dude is so bad. Like I do like you could take like a little like screen cap of that of like well here's like here's all the characters there's like there's Knives and there's Ramona and fun thing, but they don't look quite right, it's like fucking see like the fake Straw Hat Crew is fun thing. Scott Compton was busted.
So Ramona's making a list, and the second guy I guess she has to take is obviously Lucas Lee, and she's most shocked that A, this film is happening, B, she's being played by MV Adams, Wait, who's playing Scott? Jesus. And him in the Scott costume is very, very funny. And I do like that visual. They did save that.
It's just when he opens the door to the trailer. It's just like you can see all that. It's all that's there. It's so huge.
Yeah.
And I think it's more like, you knock on the door for and saying, Lucas, you in here for and say, oh, shh, you hear that kind of bottles, kind of stuff, kind of hurriedly being put away for and saying, you have a girl in there? No, I'm totally reading my lines. You got a girl in there. But then you see like that happens again, like later on, and Ramona does go into the trailer. Well, actually, he was learning his lines in here. Maybe he's just like kind of acting like he's.
Well, I think
bad boy.
I think he was feeling guilty that she caught him earlier that he hadn't actually read the script and so did not know any of the details she was bringing up earlier.
Because it's only when he was reading the script later that he brings up is like, do you know that I'm in this movie as well, but I lose. I would never lose like that. You know, that like he's actually shocked that whoever's playing him in the movie loses, and he's like, what the fuck? That's bullshit.
Well, I suppose he was seeing the actor who was playing Knives, who was like 30-something years old, but it becomes a scandal then because it's Lucas Lee is
He's dating someone playing
an
a
actor
teenager.
who plays a teenager. That's messed up, isn't it?
That's not the same thing. But okay.
Yes. And he gets into a massive battle with Ninja Paparazzi.
I was thinking, were the paparazzi were guys from the video game, but were Ninja Paparazzi in the video game as well? I can't fucking remember.
Probably.
Yeah, it feels right.
I only played the demo, so I don't know.
That's all right.
Anything past the first level is a mystery to me.
Yeah, definitely finished it. No, definitely. The second level was the film set. You know, we did that a couple of times as well. Yeah, it's mostly just kind of tooling around in there. There's that fucker who comes out who's like, oh, we're going to do this set, but it's like, there's going to be like, the Godzilla film. And the dude in the Godzilla suit was a motherfucker to beat. I hated him.
But yeah, since they've already done the jumping between different movies one in the last episode, this episode is going to be skate ninja fight, I guess. Yeah, that'll be the way to do it.
No, we get lots of going past different movies where they're driving.
We do.
Through Toronto Wood.
Yes.
Then we get that fun conversation about what these carts are called in America and possibly Japan. Do you know these carts are called Mario Karts in America? I don't think they are.
They name from somewhere, huh?
And then, so he's been sacked off the film by the end, and they're going to audition a new Scott. And who should arrive but Todd Ingram through his vegan magic portal, which then causes Ramona to go, portals! Scott went through a portal. It looks just like this vegan portal that Todd's used. So now she's going to be investigating Todd.
Looking for a vegan.
But I like the way that Lucas Lee kind of stays mostly a dick all the way through, but like has moments of like actual like a personality, a little bit showing through, and just like being around him makes Ramona go like, yeah, you didn't fucking do this. This is absolutely not the kind of thing you do. He's like, yeah, why the fuck would I?
And then
I did not know Scott Pilgrim existed, even though I joined an organization specifically for taking him out and people like him out. I didn't even read the script of this movie that I am playing him in, so no, I was not part of it. It's just obvious that it's just like, yeah, he doesn't care enough to have went out of his way to do all this shit. So yeah,
he seems to be a lot happier when he's skating. You know, he seems to be. I do that a lot more. It's fun. Head out in the town. You know, just like, hey, it's me and I'm a film star, and then it's just like, the boys start falling fun, saying, yeah, let's just like get out on the road again, might cause a massive accident.
We do get Simon Pegg and Nick Frost as the security guards as well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, because they're like, stand back, vegan coming through at the end. But yeah,
you might get hit by his vegan powers,
It is, well, exactly, because the way, by having it in like a less fraught situation, it definitely gets across the idea that everybody knows about vegan powers and everybody has to be careful around vegans in this world, rather than just this one particular vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah, another good episode. I enjoyed it. I don't know whether they're going to be around the film set again. I guess they probably have to be to a degree because of the mystery of who's written it.
They might come back to us or see that.
Yeah.
You know. I had to go and check myself. There's some very in the skate fight systems, some very Imaishi-esque flourishes there. But I guess it's been around long enough. These an influence on people who are new to the game as well.
One of the things that I thought, and it's probably going to happen. I haven't watched the next one yet, but because they're basing it around this film that's been made of a potential version of Scott Pilgrim's life, i.e. the prior version. We'll see other scenes from a different point of view with those characters who have not experienced those scenes, that kind of thing.
Well, yes, but we'll get it from a different point of view again next episode, because I see from the episode description a documentary about the Toronto production reveals drama and steamy romance behind the scenes.
It's a documentary about the movie, that we watched years ago. Okay.
Yes. Yep, with Weird Al Yankovic as the documentary narrator.
Ooh, good.
Then, on to things which actually aired this week. Detective Conan, episode 1105, Kid vs. Amuro, The Queen's Bang, part 1. This time it is a tiara that Kid is going to nick, of course, once again, belonging to Sunoko's granddad. And so they're in the queue to come and see it, when who's that standing behind them? A few people behind. Why, it's Amuro, and I can't remember her name, the cafe, who runs the Poirot Cafe. She's wearing glasses in disguise, because it's definitely not a date. Because when they mention, oh, you're on a date, all the women of a certain age's heads swivel round in the queue to say, you're dating Amuro? And she's like, no. Okay, Amuro, you hold Conan's hand. You're here with him. I'm with the two girls.
It's those 3 girls going in here, and you and a small child.
Yes.
Because that means that all these women won't fucking murder me, and there won't be a murder that Conan then has to investigate.
And also, they'll be even keener to come to the cafe to see you, because they think you're the sort of guy who's great around kids.
This is the kind of episode you can get away with after over 1,000 fucking episodes, where it's just like, oh yeah, it's like everyone kind of knows each other at this stage. It's not a huge town,
We know that from the spin-off show. So
yeah. And because the amount of people who know Amuro as that hot guy who works at the cafe, and also the amount of people who are fans of the kid, basically, they're just like, oh, I wonder what his next robbery is going to be. And that's, I think, half the reason they're showing up to see this thing is it's going to be robbed by fucking midnight, so we might as well fucking check it out now, be a part of history.
So then Amuro starts showing off doing a magic card trick, and then this big bulky guy comes along and ruins his card trick by showing everybody how he did it, and then pings the cards into the sky, and all the cards turn into doves.
I initially thought he was being a jerk by making him do not only revealing the magic trick, which is a dick move, but also doing 52 pickup. But then it's like the cards turned into doves. It's wait, that motherfucker just stole my deck of cards. Yes. What the fuck?
And then he's disappeared as well. And they're like, that must be kind of Kid. And then Amuro's like, God damn it, I'm going to be the one to defeat Kaido Kid this time for reasons I'm not going to say in this episode yet.
Nope.
So yes, they get inside. They get involved. He calls his buddy, who's not undercover, Yuya, away from the idol show that he's attending.
He was so excited to see that idol show. Just
deep undercover at the idol show, huh?
No, it was his day off. It was like, hey, it's your day off, and he's like, that's right, I'm just at an idol show. It's like, I can't hear you. There's too much shouting. I need you to come down here now. It's like, what the fuck, man? I paid for the handshake. What the fuck?
No refunds.
Then, as they're discussing all the security measures, so the security measures are essentially, if anyone tries to steal this tiara, the roof will collapse on top of them.
Seems that's a bit health and safety disaster, but what the fuck do I know?
It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah, but that's okay. And also a net will fall on top of the item, and also all the guards are safe, because if you stand at the edge of the room, you won't be hit by the ceiling coming down.
So it's just civilians.
It is, yeah, just civilians. So they're all discussing. They send the girls to the monitor room so there's not too many people around, and then they sent them away before. I think that's after Kid has shown up disguised as a guard, going, "Hey, Kid sent this message." And let me find the screenshot so I can tell you what the message is. It is: tonight at midnight, while you're lost in pale daydreams, I shall chop off the Queen's bang. Kaito Kid. And they're like, well, are we really worried? Because they have to explain this. They don't explain this plot detail every time. Is that he's looking for a certain jewel, and when he steals a jewel and it's not the jewel he's looking for, he does tend to return them. So why are you
It's a bit of a nuisance, though, but yeah.
Yes. But the reason public security are there, public safety are there, is because there's a visiting dignitary coming here. And obviously they need to protect her safety. Otherwise it could be an international incident.
Yeah, presumably this dignitary is related to whatever queen this was on to. So it's like you're stealing the royal jewels and a royal is visiting, and it's like, oh, that would look pretty bad.
Yeah, so they send the women to the monitoring room. Then everybody puts on gas masks except for the public security guys, safety guys. They've got a gas mask for Conan because he's the kid killer.
They knew he was going to show up. They have a child gas mask prepared. It's like, obviously Conan was going to show up to catch the kid, but we don't have masks for you guys. You guys are just going to have to hold your fucking breath, I guess.
Then Azusa comes back, and we've already seen Kid as he's run off after showing it. Who am I going to pretend to be this week? So Azusa comes back and explains that she's a massive Kid fan, and that's why she wants to see him in action. And now, of course, the viewer's going, this is a little suspect.
So it makes me suspect, but the suspect Hanazawa, it was there was a whole fan club that would help him set up his heist and shit. And I was like, I do know that's a thing. I know that was a parody one, but I know it's probably fucking true.
And they double down on making you suspicious of her when Ran and Sunoco, when they spot Azusa on the monitor, they're like, what's she doing there? She said she got tired and she was going home. Anyway, white gas starts coming through the vents in the AC system, and it is aerosolized paint. And so everything's getting covered with white paint, so they send the people without gas masks out of the room. Then they get the back in control of the AC. They suck everything out, but now everybody's covered in paint, and the box, of course, with the Queen's bang is also covered in paint. So Ginzo, the detective who's always after Kid, is like, okay, I'm going to check the case. And I think it's Amaru who says, no, don't check the case because you might be Kid, and you could easily swipe it as you're opening the case and make it look like Kid had taken it. And they explain how you could, because of the shape of the tiara, you could easily put it around your waist and it wouldn't upset the cut of your jacket. So they're like, let's get Conan to do it because Kid could never disguise himself as Conan. And then,
you have to be some contortionist, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, is that something they're going to do before the series is out? Is Kid going to get drugged at some point as well and be Conan-sized?
I mean, they have dressed Conan as Kid in multiple openings, I feel. So.
Yeah. So he goes to open the box and the tiara's gone. Dun, dun, dun. How did Kid do it? Where's the tiara? Which one of these people in the room is Kid? Tune in next week.
I was thinking they were nearly being so sensible because they have all the security guys and they're all wearing helmets. And then it's like, all right, men, get to it. And they all take the helmets off. I was like, brilliant. Now Kid can't disguise himself as the helmet guys. And then they all put on fucking gas masks. I was like, fucking goddamn it.
Yeah, because Conan knows, Conan explains at the end of the episode, it can only be either Amuro, Yuya, or Azusa because he knows that the masks, the makeup that Kaito Kid uses to disguise himself cannot survive having a gas mask put on it. He's either avoided wearing goggles when he's disguised himself as the granddad before because they can't come in contact with the mask, or he had a mask on when he's disguised as Sunoco, but when he put the when he took the mask off, it took the makeup off with it, and he was Kid behind it. So it was like playing into previously established Kaito Kid modus operandi as to reduce the number of suspects. Of course, I now want to see that next episode it'll turn out that he's had a way around that. But I think probably
there's
will.
been great advances in this field over the years, over these great many thousand episodes.
Yeah,
I just Looney Tune like sawed it underneath and then replaced it afterwards.
It is very funny now that Kaito Kid is running around calling himself the Wizard of the Reiwa era, when I'm pretty sure he used to call himself. Yes, he used to call himself the Heisei Lupin was his previous thing. So at least
he
he
can
changed.
be multiple eras things.
And the last Wizard of the Century, which worked better when it was the previous century and not the current century, because there's plenty of time after he's dead for there to be future wizards, unless his last heist is that
to kill all wizards.
Fountain of youth.
Yes. Yeah, that was a funny another bit of weird time playing with. Which One Piece doesn't have that problem because it doesn't exist in the real world. But yeah, Conan is definitely the thing which has the DC Comics and the Marvel problem of requiring a sliding timeline.
Like like skipping all a bunch of the filler and whatnot. We're over 1,000 episodes in. It's months, right? Months has taken place. Is that the extent of it?
Years 1990X. Crime runs rampant in Bakerstown.
Next Conan's hint was carbonara.
Oh, I'd love some.
I don't know how that plays in.
It does remind me we do need to use up because we cooked the ham last weekend. Probably turn it into a carbonara.
I assume it's something to do with the coloring of it, like the paint, something like that. Because carbonara is like that's the white
creamy one, yeah.
The white creamy one, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it's not actually paint, if it's something else.
This is carbonara sauce.
You wouldn't have known it because you were all wearing gas masks. You couldn't taste it or smell it. The delicious, savoury sense of Italy.
Well, unfortunately, they have taken their gas masks off it by the end of the episode.
I was wondering, was that one of the hints as well? Because everyone with a gas mask off has like the straps on the back of their head from the gas mask, like where the paint hit their head and where the straps like kept it clean, basically.
Yeah, the previous week's next Conan hint was gas mask, but I assume that was related to like who it had to be within the room of people who were wearing gas masks. Then we've got Spy Family, episode 34, The Hand That Connects to the Future, in which Anya saves the day multiple times.
Just about, yeah.
And they gets in trouble.
She saves the day multiple times when she remembers, oh, that's right, I need to help.
I mean, technically she doesn't need to help, but it turned out she did need to help. But she shouldn't be thinking that she needs to help because she's a 4 or 5-year-old pretending to be a 6-year-old.
Well, who else was going to throw back Mammy's ice pick to her but Anya? It's just a kind of very pathetic throw, but then the two other guys go for one. Oh, better stick up her. I'll get behind. Whoa! Just knocked out two of them.
I love that. Like she didn't throw Mammy's ice pick back and immediately like that ice pick killed someone or something, because Mammy's gonna kill like a lot of fucking people. It's like the Bruce Willis Die Hard guy slips on it, fires a machine gun. The other guy gets startled, like he gets one in the leg, and then the ice pick hits him in the butt after he knocks himself out. Basically, I was just like, so Anya horribly injured a man, but didn't kill anyone. So that's very important.
Well, yeah, I'm not even sure you're killed anybody, given even the two guys at the end somehow have survived. At least what we're seeing.
There were sharks at the end. They cut away and there were sharks. That's definite death. Also, I'm pretty sure she stabbed multiple dudes in the brain. So I think there's a bunch of dead bodies. They're in the water now. The sharks got them. That's probably why there's so many sharks around this fucking boat. They're like fucking. This is a buffet.
The directors just tossed them overboard.
Yeah. So the other part of the plot is Lloyd defusing bombs with a mask that isn't quite sitting on his face properly.
I was like, is that a mask or is he just putting on a face? Like, I was kind of thinking that.
Look, he hasn't got his usual stuff with him. Ty was on holiday, so he's got to like work what he can. But it's pretty convincing, you know. He just can't help himself. Just like, I gotta step in and do this.
And it would be easier if it wasn't for the thing that's actually making him nervous is all the security guys who are watching from the doorway. And he's like, oh, I don't like doing this in front of all the people who want to arrest me. This is really bad.
But Anya saves the day again. There's bombs all over the ship, but she figures she sees that there's one that's left in the big clock in the thing because the head assassin's trying to make his escape. It's just like, I gotta get out of here. Well, it's like explosives packed into that clock up there. That's pretty weird. Then like, hey, what she kind of pulls something with
she
with
says
the guy
she has the scarf and the glasses. She's in disguise, so she says to one of the stewards who's looking for a bomb, a guy wiped a booger on the clock, a weird looking guy, and the guy's like, that's not really my thing, but I guess we should follow Andy Lee. It's like, holy shit, the kid was right.
Yeah, there's not enough time, so Lloyd has to tear the clock off its stand.
Not the whole time while the steward's chasing him and going like, that's an antique. It's just like, it's got a bomb in it. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, just throw it over the side. I'm sure it would be a shame if like the head assassin, the perfume freak, and the informant, we're having a little thing here in the dinghy fund saying, you go double cross me and I'm gonna double cross you, and explodes on top of them. But they also survive.
They do, and then we last see them yelling at each other about to be eaten by sharks. Yeah, and then Matthew tells what she needs to do to disguise all the wounds, ice your face, make sure they don't see the wound in your chest, and then you can go and enjoy the rest of your holiday.
And it's halfway. I do appreciate him going like, you're getting soft, like you're getting emotionally involved. Like, don't fucking get emotionally involved. As a reward for a successful mission, go on holiday with your family. It's just like, are you saying to her to get out of the fucking business, basically, as much as you can, basically, yeah.
Well, it's just figuring out, like, why is she here? Why is she still like do this? This is all she knows how to do, but can she put it towards a different end besides just like this transactional thing? She did it at the heart of it to take care of her family, and she can still do it now because there's threats to fucking like the peace between East and West here. There's a Cold War and all. Can I do something to help that out?
She has a different thing to protect now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was nice to kind of back half of it. It's just like a kind of mostly kind of like a wordless thing. It was just like everything all calmed down now. Waking up, it's a new day. We'll go back to our lives, and for one, we've shipped her out. She's gonna go off, and she's gonna have a nice life for herself as well. So it's just things like that. If there's still like you hold a baby, he's getting all ornery over that, and just kind of says, "Oh yes, that's what I'm here for. That's the job. I've done something like actually good today by killing a load of hitmen." It's like, yes, this is why I did it for. It's for for this little guy right here.
And then also doing it for the little guy. It's Dark Gathering, episode 22, Old Eye Watergate, Pleasure District in Flames. In which we learn the extent of the third wave of the courtesan's attack is that she transports you back they named the Pleasure District. I didn't check whether this was an actual historical fire that happened. And you basically, your soul burns for, is it ever?
The butterflies land on you, and instead of sucking out your energy and giving it to her, they set your soul energy on fire, and it doesn't fucking go out until your
soul is consumed.
Your ghost is dead. Yeah, your soul is consumed, basically. And your man's just like, that's fine. I'll just grab all these fucking ghost corpses and turn them into fucking meatballs. And it's like, what if I set fire to your meatballs? He's like, shit, I'm in a lot of fucking trouble. And they're kind of looking on from the sidelines going like, well, this is great. So we just need to shut her down now. Look, she's dancing away. She's distracted. She's having a laugh. And there's like, she was distracting us with the dance. She's surrounded us in butterflies. She's coming for us next. Shit. Okay, we have to shut her down. You have to wrap her up her doll while we're distracting her, basically. It's and also
so they bring back the suicide ghost who slashes the butterflies.
Yeah, and also slashes at her eyes, because it's like, well, she can't land butterflies on us if she can't see us, so Just getting in a little pinch hitter there, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and they manage to bind her, and she swears vengeance that she'll get them all one day.
She always says that.
And then they cut a deal with the kid. If you hop into this teddy bear, I will feed you suitable ghosts to eat.
I'll let you eat whatever you want, but I'll tell you what to eat and what not to eat. All right.
You've done lots of terrible things, but I know you're from circumstances, so I'm going to cut you a little bit more leeway than I'd cut other ghosts.
Look, you can have your sketchbook. You see, show good faith.
Yeah, and he's in a teddy bear and does not need to be bound beyond that. So, then they realise, oh, there's an awful lot of bodies around here. We better call the police.
Hello, police. There's a bunch of mannequins in the river. I don't fucking know.
There's be like about upwards of 100 people just floating around in here.
Hey, it's mostly limbs. Okay, that's not that's not any better, guys.
What happened to the TV media? Where's she disappeared to?
She's right here. Oh, I'm her twin sister.
We'll get to her later. First of all, they find her bag, and they find her bag. Another wooden box with the other arm of the one of the set they were. Now they've got a set.
Yeah, when they show like their hand and it's like the right hand, they're kind of like, wait a minute, that's the other hand. It's like they're very slowly figuring it out. It's like, what would a medium be doing with a hand that makes curses go like cursed spirits and everything go fucking evil? That seems like the opposite of what a medium should be doing. It's like, yes, it certainly does, doesn't it?
The police, but then we also see the thing come up out of the water that had been inside her body, and it follows them to the police station on the top of the car, and that's where they meet the twin sister of the medium.
She's the good one. My sister said she had no knack for it to go on TV, on Most Haunted and from Ghost Investigators and shit like that. It's like,
and initially she was a bit sus of him because she was kind of like, listen, you guys fucking killed her, didn't you? And it's like, what makes you say that? It's like, you got a fucking cursed doll right there. I can see it. And it's like, yeah, I fucking caught the ghost who killed her, put her in this doll. And everyone's like, cool, want to apprentice under me? And it's like, and the little girl's like, what's the fucking benefits?
I'll train you for 10 years, and then you get to inherit all my magical items, and you can you'll be able to destroy any ghost that's possible. Then they discuss like the spiritual replacements. He's going, yeah, I'm pretty sure my sister had been replaced because here I've got a photo of her, a spirit photograph of her here with one aura, and here's a more recent spirit photograph with a different aura. And so she's had her soul replaced. Now, a smart evil ghost would only enter a body which had the same aura they had in the first place, color aura.
So you wouldn't know the difference to look at a photo of them. Yeah.
So you also have to pay attention to how they behave around people they know. And they swap cards. He always has to write one out.
Very. It's a nice little
Yeah, because it plays into the conversation they've had earlier where Yuyoi is like, I realised that actually having you two here makes this easier. It's less dangerous working in a team. So we're all going together every time I go and bring a ghost in. And I assume because they had the card, I assume at some point in the future they'll need a fourth person to help them out. And everything's great. And then massive amounts of policemen get killed that night.
The scary story of Evidence Locker 3 is like, oh, any evidence gets put in there, you go inside and you may never come out. Usual stuff. But then, there is something in here tonight, and it is very scary.
Is that a small child at the end of the corridor at midnight in the police station? That's weird. I better go down and check this out. Frank, are you okay? And then just they come back in the morning. There's a big pile of police down.
Yeah, a ring of people.
They've had their hair tied together as well. And they're all saying, "Give me back my head," and then they die later that day. And it turns out they've got essentially spongiform encephalopathy.
Yes.
They've all got holes in their brains and stuff. When they obviously they did an autopsy because this was a weird situation, but the police did not say this to the public because, like, well, that's fucked up. Let's cover that shit up.
Yes, and then the narrator goes, And let's wind things back to just a couple of hours after that incident happened, and then we get a Gothic Lolita girl picking up the ghost in a taxi, and then they learn, and fills them in about where the arms have been going. It's that little girl and her sidekicks.
I should transfer to her
little
school
girl,
and give her a piece of my mind.
Little girl who fucking messes with ghost shit that's fucked up. I'm a little girl who messes with ghost shit that's fucked up.
That's my
brilliant.
racket. No one hurts it on my racket.
And that's where we're going next. Spooky Skull Stories.
How are they doing all this? Oh yeah, they're on school holidays, so they have time to go and just almost get killed night after night.
That's why they've been doing like one after the other, because she's like, the holidays are over soon, so we gotta get all this done before we're back to school. Yeah.
I'm not liking some of the body horror these ghosts everyone bringing to the table. Like, no, when they inflict you with diseases and the rapidly advancing symptoms of it, because that was part of fucking what's the curse that the Corazon ghost did in the kid. Is like one said, yeah, your skin will break out in massive like kind of sores and kind of like weeping like pustules. Just like stop that, and then they can give you fucking like brain rot as well. Stop. Yeah,
yep.
Make sure like you're well clear of meal time before you get this, because this will like pick on. If you got a phobia, this is probably gonna go dig it up, or it'll create new ones in you.
Yes, it's visceral. It's very visceral in its doing things with the human body. It's even when because they mentioned like, oh, the kid's he's aged, he's got a disease, he's had the soul drained out of him. He's now in the pieces he was when he was murdered and cut up.
Yeah, there's like little red bits of stringy ghost flesh material connecting his limbs together, but they're all like spread out. I was just like, ugh, yeah, nasty.
Yeah, all good fun. Help!
Yeah.
Episode 2, Spellbreaker. This is essentially Edel versus Harua, except really it's just them two flirting for most of the episode.
It's them very slowly figuring out. I was like, wait, we're into each other, right? Like, no.
Well, it's when Harua does the Kami double take once, and you're the serious one. She's just going, well, back up, hang on. Did you just say you've unliked me? Yeah, I like fighting. Yeah, it sounds you.
I'd like to fight you forever and ever.
Way.
Yes. And Asta chatting with Duke's daughter's name. Shalami, yes. And then they go exploring, looking for the king, and they find him.
I did like the thing. It was like, well, you want to talk to the king? Fantastic. I'm the king. It's like, oh shit, really? Nah, I'm fucking with you. I was just like, you fucking had me, Joe. You had me for a second.
Yeah, and I like the bit where she's like, well, I was told by my dad not to explain things to the citizens, but you're an outsider, so I can tell you anything you want to know.
Flawless fucking reasoning. Yeah.
And it's like, you know Helk. I know Helk as well.
And her tearful thing is like, I want to eat food with I've forgotten Helk's brother's name. God damn it.
Yes.
I want to eat food with Kless. I don't want Helk to cook his food. I want to go to the restaurant with Helk and Kless. And it's just like, it's just all food related stuff for you. And it's just like, yeah, come on, let's go find the king. But partway through heading towards the king, she's like, where are we? I don't know where we are in the castle. It's like, you were leading me around. It's like, yeah, I was, wasn't I? I think we should turn back. And I was like, oh, okay, there's some kind of thing preventing her from going the whole way to the king. But they kind of just stumble on the king, I guess, is the main thing.
Yeah.
She's shown off the one like magic spell that she knows as well. And saying, oh yeah, that's like no really important thing to do. That's why I gotta keep indoors all the time. But check it out, I can kind of like imbue power around it. It's kind of like magical snowfall. It's like, yeah, really? Yeah, you can put like anything in this little kind of magical snowfall spell and imbue it across a wide area, It's all I know how to do, but Dad says it's very important, so don't tell anybody.
Yeah, and the king tries to kill them with a telekinetic dagger and gets told off by the Duke. So King does just appear to be some sort of puppet as opposed to in charge of things.
Or some kind of evil knife. Yeah, it's just...
And then meanwhile, the big arch villain, Makaros, is well. Before we get to that, they explain you shouldn't kill the king, because if you kill the king, all the humans who've been turned into heroes are going to go berserk.
I think the king. I could be wrong, but I think the king's purpose is just so these heroes can magically swear fealty to him, and therefore every time they die, they regenerate back by the fucking king. And they're like new world creatures, but they're basically awakened heroes, so they're attached to him. If you kill the king, they just turned into the new world monsters. So that like it's just gonna make the situation worse, honestly.
Yeah, the question now is like, what's the connection between the concept of hero and the new world monsters? Because by the end we see what Mikaris
They're
does.
going wild.
He breaks the spell himself,
Hmm.
which is the thing the Duke said would happen if you killed the king, and causes the immediate heroes in the vicinity to go berserk, the unawakened ones, and they turn
I mean,
into.
that's kind of like because you can't quite beat Vermilio. It's like, well, what if I awaken these two guys? And he's like,
It's
not
not
yeah,
here. That's true. Yeah.
Different color.
Sorry, I'm mixing up the names. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because we spent so much time with Helk, and then a little bit with Emilio, and then I guess we have to wait a long time before we spend time with the pair of them again. Yes, he turns them into monsters, and then he finds Edil consorting with the enemy because he's just gone and saved his would-be girlfriend, who's definitely not in love with you, Honest, and then he manually forces him to go a different change, and this is the change that we saw the hero who as Helk and Vermilio were traveling, that guy who
that
got
ghost,
into the form
yeah,
they're afraid that Helk will go into, as opposed to the form that Dwayne's now got into and completely frozen up on the screen.
No, I'll move again in a minute. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So that's another visual clue. It's like, okay, so now we know there's some sort of connection between all these things we've seen happening, and this is how. And he verbalizes it at the end. The Mikaris does, of like, the one man I'm afraid of is Helk, and I'm in a bad way already because I've sacrificed so much trying to take this castle. I've lost. There's parts of me I can no longer regenerate, but I know how to get to Helk because I've turned his would-be girlfriend into a monster as well. And I'm going to set her on Helk, so that will send him into despair, and he'll turn into the same sort of thing that Edil's just turned into.
And I was half thinking, is like, you're assuming a lot, because he was like, I knew the guys who had their minds still intact, like, might turn against me, but this will definitely get Helk. It definitely won't piss him off and make him kick the shit out of me. No, I've got everything figured out. And I was like, you fucking idiot.
I'm sure says to him, "Oh, it's worth it. No, we gotta bring about the new world. No, this to come. It's no point fighting it. This is just like we're all. It's how this thing is evolving. I'm just speeding it up."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, he's going to send Alicia after Helk as a way of sending him into despair.
Yeah, it only really struck me, kind of more this is that, yeah, there are no more like normal human beings left, at least from this kingdom anyway. It's just like, yeah, they're all gone. There's no like civilians or anything. It's just all of these like all these monster dudes. Like,
yeah, it's just Raphael, Mikaris, and Raphael's daughter. Those are the three left, I think.
Yeah, and you're getting this kind of the scale of the atrocity is just kind of just being, you know, oh yeah, Jesus, when you fucking just like even put like a few more seconds thought into it, it's just like this is some fucking dire shit they're putting. Wow. Just to get one, just to get one guy. Wow, that's some resources they're putting into it.
Well, I mean, like, they're not really expending any resources because all of the pseudo heroes come back to life anyway. And that also means potentially rescued because none of the humans are technically dying. So,
Yes, just got to reverse the process somehow.
What the people who are actually dying seems to be the Demon King, because it's just like, yeah, they killed the prior Demon Lord. They've killed a bunch of the guys who were running the various castles. And also they stabbed the fuck out of, I've forgotten which color he is. God damn it! I wish I could remember names better.
Azudra.
Azudra,
the blue one.
The blue guy. Where he's getting stabbed up to fuck by a double evil awakened thing.
This is Adele in Adil in the, like I say, this is the Berserk form that we found that the hero they ran into on their travels.
Which we've seen that same kind of energy coming from Helk. So again, it's all interconnected. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this episode because it tied everything together nicely. I'm like, I guess we'll go as far as this confrontation with Alicia this season, and then wait and see if there's another season of the rest of the comic. Yeah, and it's like, what exactly does the Duke know what Mikaros' plan is? Because Mikaros is very much, when he's away from the Duke, he's much more of a cackling villain than we've seen him in front of the Duke.
Yeah, he's like, I work for you, but when he's away from him, he's like, aha, this is all my plan. I did this on purpose. Yeah.
I'm 1,500 years old. We plotted this forever. Yeah, it's just wish it. This was a well-directed episode, but I just wish the action was more exciting.
Again, the character interplay, like it's not that their exchange of swordy barbs and also it's like I'm attracted to you barbs was like it was the acting that was good, not so much the action of it. And it wasn't bad by any stretch, but it wasn't as good as the other things we're watching is the main problem. Yeah,
I guess that's the other thing which makes it remind me of Slayers. Is its functional animation. Then we've got Bullbuster, episode 10. Namidoni Industries on the verge of collapse. A clash of emotions. Tajima makes the hard call.
You gotta keep this team together. Remember why we're here.
I knew they were at their lowest point when your man called in sick to work. I was just like, oh no.
But he's an ox. He's never sick. Even with that broken leg, he kept coming in. Oh.
And he's just calling in sick because he's just sick of it. Understandably, like he's basically been demoted for mostly swearing, but also just because the company's getting absorbed to spite him, essentially.
Yeah, I don't even care about that whole like leaking the information thing. Everyone said, "Don't worry about it. This will just be like swept on. This is like water under the bridge. Don't worry about it." And disciplining like my employees, won't say, "No, don't worry about it. It'll be just fine.
No. It'll be fine." The information, like these scientists, they just make up information to fill their hypothesis. It wasn't even information that had anything to do with us or would indict us in any way.
Yeah.
And your man's like, it wasn't. It's like, yeah, because you
haven't
looked at
my
the data,
friends.
right?
Smile and nod.
You haven't looked at the data. It's actually bullshit on there. It's all fine. We'll sweep it. Like, and it was just like, it'll be all fine if you shut the fuck up. Basically, is the implied thing. Yeah.
It's just like if everyone's on him now, even like Miyuki, the secretary, is just like, sir, well. What's that? What? Okay, no, completely honestly now, Miyuki Fun. Say anything you want. What do you think about this murder fun? Saying, well, for being open, honest, I don't think it's right. I think it's wrong, so we can't go ahead with this. I'm sorry. I've seen over time. Good day. Even she's standing up to him. She's like,
Yeah.
Yes.
I quite like what she shows. This very this very quiet dignity that's like going on with this because. She's later on when this is going along with like the young one's plans to live stream like the monsters thing so the world knows about it. It's just fun throws herself across the computer and say, "No, I put up with a lot, but I'm not putting up with this." It's
like she's been kind of like passive in it, and that's like again it's good character writing because that's been her character. She does have like an internal life where she talks about her last job where she let a lot of abuse happen at that job because it's like it's out of my fucking hands. There's not really much I can do from my position, and it's like, but you let it happen, and that just made it fucking worse.
And the other thing is Tajima overhearing the accountants in the bar saying,
"Oh my god, he's so sad. I felt so bad for the guy."
Because he's explaining how he loves this job and in this environment, loves the company because he gets to be himself. He can make statements, whereas in the previous job he was in, he felt like he could never speak out about anything.
He kept his head down in the prior job and like let a lot of fucking shit happen, and it just sort of happened around him. It wasn't anything to do with him. Here, he's speaking out and being the bad guy a lot, and he doesn't like having to do that, but he's doing good work. He's actually like,
we know as well, like it's because like he loves this company like more than any of them put together. Like he wants it to do well. He's to say, I want us to succeed. We got I don't want this like to happen where I was before.
The reason why he's so harsh about staying under budget is he wants this company to stay afloat. He likes it here.
Yeah, Namar is being called back to head office, so he meets and gives them. And here's
another great
the
fucking
file
scene. Jesus,
with all the Kickstarter information on. Not winking, but essentially winking.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Do
I'm not
what
sure
you
he's
will.
capable of winking because of his very flat fucking
Yes.
affectation. But I love the scene because he was like, yeah, the Kickstarter was a bad idea because that's just a temporary thing. While we would have bought the new mech, we wouldn't have been able to keep up the repairs and all that stuff for it. So it was a very stopgap measure. But here's all of the fucking information anyway. See, I mean, do with it what you will. And also the thing of him just going like, you seem to have it in your feather, like you're thinking that I'm a spy. I'm not. I do things my own fucking way, and that gets seen as weird by other people. But and him explaining to your man is just like, it's just like, we can't work for a company that'd cover up all this chemical spill that basically got a bunch of people fucking killed. And your man's like, our job is to eliminate the beast, so the people can go back to their fucking homes. And when they get back to their homes, if the information comes to light, they can sue the company for damages. Our job is just to kill the beast. That's our part of it, right? He was very like laying it out, like explaining.
He's trying to say, everyone, look, this sucks. This fucking sucks shit, and I know, but
we can do this thing that
we
gets
can
them on the road.
we can
to
still do it from
reparations.
the inside. Like we can still possibly do it from the inside. No fun. This is like we gotta be fucking like, what can we do this minute? Like, it's shit.
Exactly.
But what can we do this minute?
Like, we can't refuse to work with the company because that doesn't fucking get us along the process of any kind of reparation or fixing this problem. We can only do a very minor fix to it.
Unless we get alternative funding.
Unless we turn the one thing we can do into the source of the alternative funding. Which is what they do at the end, is they start live streaming their hunting of the beasts. Even before Tajima has made the decision to end the
to do that anyway. Those damn kids that beat me to it. And head office is calling down points, and you gotta pull down the stream before we're gonna rule this point, saying, no, sir. Yeah, but you pull yourself down. What does it even mean? I don't know. But he's like, he does the car with Roger people and saying, this company stand for something like that. And if you're going to stand in the way of us doing that, then I'd rather not have anything to do with you at all. If this deal is off, we'll get on without you. We'll figure out a way. It's fun trying to like kind of taking responsibility, and just like he says it himself, I'm always fucking just like wavering on his hard choices, but I'm gonna go and see the wife, down by the seaside. I'm gonna sign the divorce papers. I'm just gonna be fun done with it now, because like this is where it has to gonna be. I'm putting things off, hoping they'll be different or turn out different, but they're not going to. I have to decide. I gotta make the call here. It's gonna suck, but you have to go through with it. You got. What can you do right now?
I appreciate the show giving him the chance to go like, I'm going to basically take all the blame. Hey, scientist lady in our secret meeting, will you be willing to say that I fucking stole the data and you had nothing to do with it? So like, he's willing to throw himself entirely under the bus. But then the guys have gone and live streamed their fucking live beast. He's like, all right, it's out of my fucking hands now. It's like the kids are all right. The kids and that one old guy are all right.
I thought for a little while the way he was like, saying, what can we do? What can we do? And he sees like, the fucking little decal mock up of like his fucking mobile tuxedo sundown, wherever funny it is like that fun saying. I thought, are they gonna like get in contact with a model making company fun saying? We're gonna like friend that model kits of all of the robots for years. But I suppose that'll come later, because first you've got to drum up the interest to get the hype out of there. And say, have you heard about this YouTube show where they hunt monsters in the lake? And it's all like, it's all pretty cool, but also very wholesome because it's got an environmental message in there as well.
Again, the realism of the show, the comment section scrolling up, I was just like, yeah, this all sounds fairly realistic. Like someone going like fake, and another person going like, yeah, the standard stuff.
Yeah. Then what is next? And who has turned into a black screen?
Is it me?
Well, he's a frozen screen.
He's a frozen screen there, yeah.
I'm trying to turn it back on, but it's freaking out. God damn fucking Skype. Well, I'll figure it out.
It's Jujutsu Kaisen, episode 44, Right and Wrong, part 3. How much right and wrong can there be?
Like I guess it goes right, it goes wrong, it goes right again. But really use a helping hand, a friendly face right now. And then fucking the music starts playing, and it says, and you just hear it, brother! On your feet, we got a job to do. It's this Toto. He's back, baby. He's here. He's probably his own little friend who says like, I'm not gonna make any promises. I can kind of stop wounds getting worse, like yours just now. I'm going to check on your friend over there who got her eyes blown out. Not making any promises, but maybe I can do something. I suppose
I can make her not worse, basically.
I suppose it's this little bit that got me thinking maybe she can come back with a cool eye patch. No, that's probably what initially kind of is. But again, this is how it was rendered previously. I thought, that seems pretty gnarly. But Yuji has been killed himself, so who's to say what can or can't be done? And like magic exists in this fucking thing. Like,
I'd be so delighted to see Toto come back, but after the last two of my favorite characters appeared in the fucking show, I was just like, oh no, my next favorite character has appeared in the show. Oh Jesus fuck. Yeah, it really made me worry like 3 in a fucking row, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's like just kind of a long thing of that, and lots of cool little things of fun. Saying, you know how it works. He claps his hands. You can make 2 people swap places, or even more than that, or just as you kind of will. And it's just like doing the old fucking like infinite looping combo on Mahito, like just like they did into that last one back in the day. That was fun. But it's over the course of it, it's just like, oh, my brother Yuji, from the back room to gain up fun. I'm pushing him on into greater heights, but in the process, he's pushing me on even greater heights as well. I'm like soaring like a rocket through. I'm fucking clapping the hands. I'm gonna punish this guy so hard. But at the same time, they're pushing Mahito. These guys back against the wall. He was figuring out even new ways to use his own curse technique and how to gain full complete control over his own soul. So they also pushing him and this kind of 3 frame was just like all 3 combatants who were giving the best fight of their lives, reaching for 110% of their full potential. It's just a big kind of spectacle of that, and it is a bit of an uplifting thing because it has been just mired down in this misery for week upon week upon week, and you need still a bit of something triumphant to just give you some kind of a lift back off it again. That's fun long and short of it now. It's just fun, lots of that, and again, it works very fun that they've been able to, for some of these anyway, have a bit of crack with the animation. This kind of stretch, in terms of the story, yeah, it's been a meat grinder, but it's just been kind of fun to watch Mahito morphing around and making different shapes of everyone doubling up, and then you're putting Todo in a mix and they're doing he's swapping around, he's fun, guys zipping around.
It does a great job of even Mahito commenting on it. It's just even when you know how his trick works, it's really fucking disorientating. There's not really much you can do to stop it because you don't know what he's going to swap with what else. Even his solution of I'm just going to turn my arms into blades and spin around on the spot, so it doesn't matter who changes places with what. It'll just be a big chaos destruction. It's oh shit, he can switch with objects as well. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, and then you're just pegging little stones in him again, any little gram of anything that's hanging in the air, you can swap it around. Just fun, throw stones at him, and then you can switch places with one of the stones, and then you're on top of him. That's what the last thing is. Just usually get this rock and fucking pitch it powerful and throw as fast as you can. Then switch places with that rock. I'm gonna be like a man rock and a man missile. I'm gonna fucking hit him so far. They're gonna double up the speed and punch him. Yeah, there's lots of trouble. Fun, great performances. This again is this from Todo, because it had been long enough. He's obviously a lot of his favorite character, and it was a great performance. All those episodes and series ago. It's just you can't wheel him out all the time because he's just too good.
To be overusing him.
So. I forget what his status was at the end of this arc.
I remember.
But it's I know one thing that befalls him. But kind of where the comic is right now, it'd be a real good time to have something like that happen again for something. You got to go wheel somebody back in and saying, "Yes, it's it. It's the dude. He's the back." There's something like that to kind of wheel.
Do they have anyone alive to do do that with?
There's loads of characters. There's loads of characters who have not appeared in the current arc who are still alive. A surprising amount survived this arc.
The whole other fucking school is basically they're still bombing around for the most part.
Yeah, there's the fucking Mechamaru, he fudged their mission details to have most of them be away from this in the middle of it, and then fucking Miva has to have one. Just sort of like conversation with like, the boy who liked her, but only like, in a little fucking talking badge form. He had a tearful goodbye in that means. And everyone's saying, yeah, that's a fucking heart render as well. And they just gotta wait in like the space between characters for one saying, you should probably leave these two alone. It's fucking like, pretty heart rending. It's also
Like
fucked up that when Mechamaru thought only Toda was good enough to go and like be good enough to contend with the danger here. But she's just trying to protect this man. He wasn't a soulless robot.
We've got Dr. Stone, New World, episode 20, First Dream. Which everybody gets woken up again, including an additional person.
Yeah. Their priority became like, we're hungry. Okay. We'll get Amaryllis. She knows I wait around town. I don't like pulling the cart. I'm gonna get tired. You'll pull the cart. One saying, we can't make food for shit. Get Francois. Okay, we got good food. Okay. And now we have good food. We'll get around to the rest of the things we need doing.
Yeah, they what's the guy's name who's got the moon-shaped scar on his forehead, who thinks Ginro's his master from 100 years ago?
I've forgotten his name again because he's important for this to relay to impart this information, and then it's pretty much never really used again.
He's not important, but he's there for comedic Ginro stuff, basically. From
that's essentially, yes. He's like it's comedic Ginro stuff, and there's an additional swordsman around when additional swordsman's needed for a scene.
This motherfucker's like a samurai type character, which is like, okay, fair enough. But
see, what was unusual about him is this, like, they found his petrified statue, but he is of a much more recent petrification than the rest of them, only the last 100 years or so, not millennia. So he's somebody who was petrified like a few centuries back. So and we see on the arm that we broke off when we bring him up. Sorry about that. He's got a little mark on there that's in the same kind of double Mobius strip as the petrification device. So it's like, I wonder what he might be able to tell us about these things.
Yeah, he explains one day there was all these little glowing items falling out of the sky, which turned everyone into stone. So whoever this Y-Man is occasionally repeating petrifications.
Yeah, in fact, he's doing it right now. He got a call from home saying, "Hey, are you even fucking making calls back to fun?" Saying, "No, why do you ask?" One saying, "Oh, actually, it's a call right now, and it's just 12 million meters 1 second." One saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hey, get that thing away from there. We know what that happens when this thing goes off." And it's just like, oh, God. That's a very odd number to cast, but it's only the diameter of the Earth.
And they're like, well, that's not the most important thing out of the message. Why does he sound like you, Senku?
Senku's like, I literally haven't said those words in that order, so it'd be. And Taiju's solution of is like, someone must have recorded you on their iPhone. It's like we don't have iPhones, Taiju, so it's probably not that. But that one time we did make the radio call, they probably they get their radio expert to listen to it, and he's like, yeah, this sounds like a Vocaloid. This is a synthetic voice because it's saying it in exactly the same tone and timbre that it did the last time it tried to vaporize the whole fucking Earth again, as they're listening to the call come in on the regular, and they're just like, okay, we just need to use our dish to triangulate where it's coming from. Yeah, it's coming from the same place, and that place is up. It's the moon, baby.
Yeah, and so we're going to have to.
Don't say it.
We go to the moon.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, that's your target for the rest of the show. I saw some people commenting on this. They go to the moon already? The hell that's going to take? Are they moving too fast? And that's the rest of the series. It's as much time you spent with the series so far, you're going to have to spend that time again for them to get to the moon.
They have recently invented boat, so they're going to speed run boat to spaceship, right? But it's like there's a lot of pieces of technology and natural resources that you need before you can get a fucking spaceship. So don't worry about it. They just have to spend the rest of the show doing that. Yeah.
Also, this is the fun thing about the series is as the technology gets faster and faster, the series gets faster, emulates how quickly advancements happen.
Electricity got it. Wheels did them. We've just we just leapfrog those bits, and they do that in some ways. It's like we gotta get everybody back together again. It's just like they smashed up the ship. This is going to take ages to repair. No problem. We'll just get everybody in. Everyone's stowing the sails and they're fixing the consoles, and you do it all in a nice little montage. And you don't need to have this whole thing. We gotta gather resources. We got to learn how to make wire again.
Before.
We got it.
Yes, which is definitely a lesson I think Undead Unluck has learned from Dr. Stone. Mashal to a degree as well, though Mashal towards the end has a very funny thing where one particular thing takes months and months to occur to a comical extent. But yeah, I think well, my opinion is that Demon Slayer started it once they realized, people realized, you can be a success and only let your comic run 5 years. No point of us trying to keep things
string it out forever
years
until
like
people get
an early grave.
Yes. And Dr. Stone, I think, is almost like dead on 5 years. How long it took to an eerie degree. Obviously, Mashal's even quicker. That's like 3 years or something.
Well, it's all scientifically calibrated and well put together like that. The finest parts. And
that's actually what the scientific consultants were doing. They were making sure they were on fucking time.
And it's very effective as well with how you utilize it. This is like it's this and Godzilla Singular Point that is such a fun thing. I look kind of scary, like chill on my spine when we're talking about numbers. It's just like it's like the voice from over thing is fun saying 12,000 for an 800 for a meter. What's that for? Oh, it's the diameter of the planet. It's just It's just like I've done that twice now for saying crackly kind of voice. It's just like you go up and saying that would be like a hack kind of cliche to do in a horror film. Then you can't remember. Yeah, there's nobody else on the planet who should be able to do that. So what the fuck is happening? It's just like it makes you very it's very eerie.
It's scary when the call's coming from inside the house when only 2 people on planet Earth have telephones.
Yeah.
And then finally, the thing I forgot to watch, and then when I tried to watch it, couldn't watch it because I thought they said it was debuting on Disney Plus this week, and unfortunately, it was debuting with just episode 1 and not fully catching up. But you can watch it with a dub on Disney Plus. It's Undead Unluck, episode 10, Results. So I went back and reread chapter 19 and chapter 20, which is where this comes from.
Yeah, they do the whole thing that this might become a thing they do with certain episodes going forward. I think they may have this little sit down and run over all the results a couple of times, but it's just like we have a repeat theme with a book appears in flames, and then it's just like we do a whole repeat this sort of little sequence of them saying that's kind of fine to run through everything like that.
This was important to do it the first time, right? Because this is like the end results of the video game level. How well did you do? What did you unlock? What are the new what's next stage going to fucking be? That kind of thing. Yeah.
Well done, Andy and Fuko. You got and Shin. You got spoiled. Fair play, G. Well done, the rest of the team who did 5 other quests in the time it took you to do this one. So thanks, and still came in at the end to save you. So I know you're new here, but just start pulling your weight, okay?
And they still failed because
5 out of 6 doesn't count. Almost gets you almost penalty. Universe now exists.
Yeah, so the things they've done is, let me go through this here.
They got the location or they earned the location of Unburn, but they've already captured Burn.
Yeah, so they capture Uma Burn, which gives them an 11th seat. Then they captured the Uma Eats, which gave them the reward of learning where Unburn was, but maybe you don't want to bother with Unburn because you've already taken control of burning things. Neutralization of the Uma language, which means that all of the world's languages have been unified.
To English. Yeah, there we go.
I did like the way Shen
anyway.
Shen just rings up Mui and is just like, hey, I'm gonna speak Chinese at you for a second. She's like, the fuck did you just say? And he's just like, yeah, confirmed.
Don't worry about it.
Then capture the Uma Past was successful. That gave them the Artifact Rebellion.
That'll come up later.
Capture the Uma Spoil, and that gave them the location of Unrepair, who's currently in Brazil.
right where Unburn is, or sorry, not Unburn.
Then item number
Unseen.
6.
Unseen. That was it.
Well, yes, they failed to capture Unseen, which is why they get the punishment of adding the Uma Galaxy. Do you get the cut to Unrepair in the anime?
He's torturing somebody that we cannot see in a chair at the point and saying, "Hey, buddy, you might want to start talking because I've cut your guts open and it's not going to heal until either I die or I turn it off." So
he's also explaining the guy's ability. So everything you see as yours I'm unable to perceive it. So how come I can see the blood coming out of that belly wound that I gave you? That's weird. Anyway, you might want to fucking talk pretty soon and join us or that kind of shit. It's like, okay.
That's not a nice sight. Let's go to Australia instead, to Uluru, and see like a universe being born. It'll be pretty something.
And the idea is like, and I love the thing of it because obviously testing out with the language thing by just calling her up on the internal comms of their base, but like teleporting to Uluru and then basically like looking at the stars suddenly appearing in the sky, and we see them appear in prior scenes and places we've seen. It's like, yeah, it's weird that it wasn't there before and you didn't notice it, but for
it tells a very dark night every time. Yeah,
just a cloudy night every time. But like all the negators, like they're aware of everyone else on planet Earth is like, yeah, there's always been a fucking universe. But like the negators are like, wait, hold on, what's the new information? And
they're aware of any changes that have happened.
One of our guys has to like have a bunch of other nerds plug into his, like from a distance, like plug into his brain with the new information that is now standard on planet Earth.
Yes, yeah. Nico is the guy who's got all the lab assistants who then give him the information.
So he can update us. He can update the negators, and he can update us. The audience is like, "Hey, here's the new rules. There, see all those stars? They're all like our sun, and they have planets like Earth in it, which means now there's aliens, and they're invading today, because." They couldn't invade before now, but they're definitely invading today.
Well, they didn't exist before now, but in their minds, they've been trained for millions of years to invade other planets.
Yeah.
And these aliens are just dudes who are like humanoid axes.
Their ships are axes. Their faces are axes. They are the Axelors.
Axos Empire.
The axis of evil, and they've shown up to take over Earth. And they're like, I tell you what, you guys seem reasonably intelligent. So if you want to work for us, you can work for us as slaves. But if you do resist us, we're going to wipe you out and just like turn your planet into a hatchet or something. I don't fucking know.
So wiping us out, yeah. What? That's like, what you gotta do. Yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta do it for the existence of our people. This is what we have to do, and this is the way it's going to be. So that's the way it is. That's the thing. That's what you feel justified in saying that. I feel justified in saying that. What did they think? They seem to be blowing each other up. Oh no, all my men.
That's the opposite of what I just said, where we're united, unlike humanity, which we've been studying for millions of years. Like, so, but you've reversed our justice somehow.
Yeah, it's always a weird one. That like, it's just like, does that mean like you gotta catch them in a legal loophole before they can do this? But this seems to be.
They have to have a definitive thing that they believe. Like I think I saw someone talking about that. Why did Juiz not use it against Victor in the last episode? Because Victor was playing with them, and if she reversed his justice at that stage, he might have just murdered everyone there. You know, that kind of thing. It's like, you got to be careful about how fucking you use it. So that kind of thing, yeah.
Just sort of like, if untruth is there and it kind of does almost the same thing. I suppose this is like more like a more powerful, like kind of, this would like come change your whole fucking like, personality. Might kind of, it's kind of a brainwashing, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. So untruth is like you do the opposite thing physically. Whereas on justice, you do the opposite thing.
Opposite to what your ideals would
your
be,
morality or your ideals or principles. Exactly. Yeah.
But the leader has not killed himself, so she comments that his vision was not what he said it was.
Guess you're all talk and no action, are you?
So she basically like tell all the aliens to fuck off from Earth.
Yeah, keep your hands off planet Earth.
And that's what a leader does, Andy and Fuku. This is what I got to put up with fucking week on week, all right? So
and no more fuck-ups. Like, wow.
No more alien invasions.
Like, this is the 99th penalty they've received. And he's like, so that's what a penalty is like. And he's like, yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. In this case, my power was just the one thing that would do it. But, like, it's not necessary. It might be more difficult next time. Also, we got 2 more shots of this, and the second fucking shot is a fucking Ragnarok. So we got one more failure in our pocket. We cannot afford to fail any more than this.
So you got to go and recruit and repair you, Fuko, and Tatiana.
Yeah.
And the reason they have to recruit him is because Apocalypse won't give any new quests until all the seats are filled, and they just earned a new seat, so it's kind of like a penalty in its own fucking regard.
And after 3 months, it's an automatic penalty.
Yes.
This thing is rigged from top to bottom, I tell you.
Yeah, very much so.
Yes, it is.
It's just how it's just like, this like within this kind of space. A lot of weird's just going to happen. It's going to like ratchet up the stakes and put a clock on this like right away. And just to kind of put it like, it's like it's being shown like the account of the company, and saying, you don't know how much in the red we are, do you? This is we're bollocks, guys. We're fucking like. We're going to pay any of the bills this month. If we can't pay the bills, everyone dies. We fucked up 99 times so far. Now, again, this thing since dead against us, so it seems unreasonable. It's like 5 out of 6. No, not good enough. You gotta do all of them.
And the other thing we get a lot of the establishing of how weird the rules and of this world and now universe work. Because now that there's a universe. Now we have days of the week and a whole bunch of theologies and religions and shit based around the fact that there are days of the week. Because there wasn't before, because it was just the Earth spinning around the sun, I guess. So we just count the days, but we don't name them as days of the week. That's a separate thing related to universal stuff. Yeah. So sometimes there's like knock-on effects to things added or taken away. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like, and then you go, why did Victor know about days of the week then when he was?
Because he asked what day of the week it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think it's well, they capture or release like it was, and then they kill different ones. So they just like routinely just disrupt the laws of nature on the regular. So you could put it down to that, but
it's the other thing of like, like capturing them or killing them does different things. So like if they didn't capture eat and they killed eat, would people no longer need to eat? Like, was that going to change the rules again?
I think that would be how it worked.
Yeah, and so it probably would have been pretty bad actually if you killed spoil, because then things don't spoil, and if things don't rot, then things don't grow, and it's just like it's a whole set of complications if you interfere with this.
That was spoil's thesis. I'm like a monster that makes people into puddles of goop, but it's a necessary fun like part of the cycle of life.
Yeah,
and you may not like it, but I'm still like a necessary fundamental thing, and I probably could be a bit nicer about it, but hey, I gotta fucking be indiscriminate. This is how it goes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I didn't watch the episode, but I enjoyed rereading the 2 chapters this episode was based on.
Hey.
And Detective Conan just pushed it out of my brain quite clearly. Yeah, it would also help if it was actually on Disney Plus. God damn it. There we go.
Will be.
It will be, yes.
After a number of weeks.
9 weeks' time. Oh, righty-ho. That is everything. I don't think there's anything else next week to watch apart from the extra Detective Conan.
Okay.
That's all it now, yeah.
I don't think nothing surprising to show up.
Almost hitting the end of the year, almost hitting the end of this batch. It's like there's certainly a lot of these, they aren't ending, will be pausing at least. And
yeah.
There might be a couple of noble farmers may show up somewhere.
Ooh, okay.
There's a couple of OVA episodes coming out with the comic next week.
Oh shit! I think we've neglected to say there's been new episodes of Ikemono-san.
Oh yes. There's one new.
Can you call it an episode? They're basically like a GIF.
It was like a 3 seconds of a nut being chewed, and then there was like a quiz about can you identify what animal the boy and the dog are pretending to be. It was a snail.
It's play at home fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There is one more thing, but don't have to worry about that till next year. Right at the end of the year, there's 4 episodes of Pokemon Concierge.
Okay.
I haven't seen the regular non-Pokemon Animal Concierge yet.
Which one's better? There's only one way to find out.
Only one may leave, and then later the other one leaves.
After collecting their bags from the concierge. I've lost my Google Chrome. There we go. Oh, there's another Burn the Witch apparently as well at the end of the year.
Not 0.8 though. Just like I think I'll wait for version 1 point something. Thank you.
Man, I'm not beta testing this fucking shit. Come on.
My 0.8. Right, that means like it's going to start just before that the end bit of the thing anyway. So you're fine. So you have to be on the hook like that. Come on.
Ah, dear.
Rightio. So we're back next week with more of the same.
Lots of that. Too much.
Bye.
Just enough.